Here she comes. She's got her back to us.
Under that umbrella, there's a lady who's 91 years old.
Alice Mendoza.
Alice Mendoza. Where's Alice? All right, Alice. Thank you. All right.
Thank you. 91.
Barbara Beal is the ladies auxiliary president.
Yeah. Okay. I'm following you around, Ma. Okay, I will. Ma, you know who I saw? I saw Alice Cisneros. I told her, how's Wowie? She said hi. She remembers. Bye. Bye, you guys. Outhouse.
And it had 2 seats.
Oh my.
Yeah, 2 seats. And then he would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had that belly, what you call it?
Pot-bellied stove.
Yeah, a stove. And he would get some coals out of there, hot coals, and first he'd put some dirt in that pan, and then he would put some three bricks on the floor of the toilet there. And then he would put that pan up there, and with the coals in it. By the time Julie and I would wake up in the morning, and Mama would go over there to the outhouse, and it was warm, and it was below zero outside. But the only thing is we had to walk through the snow and go through the gate of the chicken yard and go out there to the outhouse. And then one time before I went to school, there was this chicken, and you should have seen it, Alfred. It had something white over here on the butt, about that much, you know, was showing, and the chicken was walking like that. And I got down on my knees. I was about 3 years old, something like that. And I got down on my knees, and I was walking like a duck, you know, 1 foot and then the other, 1 foot and going right behind her with my hand like this on her butt, like that. And I was going, because she was going real slow towards the nest. And I was going like this, and the egg fell in my hand. And it had a white tissue.
Yes.
And I was going to run to show it to Mama, and then it turned hard, that shell.
Yes.
With the air. And I said, look.
A miracle.
I said, Mama, look. It's an egg. Yeah. And it came out of that poor chicken, but it was soft, Tito.
Yes. And what did you think you had seen there? A miracle, right?
Yeah.
You thought it was a miracle.
I didn't know what it was.
It's a miracle of life.
I didn't know what it was that was in the back of the chicken, but I was going to catch it before it fall into the snow.
Yes.
It was going to fall into the snow. She didn't get to the nest in time.
Wow. Well,
If I hadn't caught it, I bet you it would have stayed in the snow.
Yeah.
Probably stepped on it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I can't.
Outhouse.
Outhouse.
And it had 2 seats.
Oh my.
Yeah, 2 seats. And then he would get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and we had belly, what you call it?
Pot-bellied stove.
Yeah, a stove.
Mm-hmm.
And he would get some coals out of there, hot coals, and first he'd put some dirt in that pan, and then he would put some three bricks on the floor of the toilet there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he would put that pan up there, and with the coals in it. By the time Julie and I would wake up in the morning, and Mama would go over there to the outhouse, and it was warm, and it was below zero outside.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing is we had to walk through the snow and go through the gate of the chicken yard and go out there to the outhouse. And then one time before I went to school, there was this chicken, and you should have seen it, Alfred. It had something white over here on the butt, about that much, was showing, and the chicken was walking like that. And I got down on my knees. I was about 3 years old, something like that. And I got down on my knees, and I was walking like a duck, 1 foot and then the other, 1 foot and going right behind her with my hand like this on her butt, like that. And I was going, because she was going real slow towards the nest. And I was going like this, and the egg fell in my hand. And it had a white tissue.
Yes.
And I was going to run to show it to Mama, and then it turned hard, that shell.
Yes.
With the air. And I said, look.
A miracle.
I said, Mama, look. It's an egg. Yeah. And it came out of that poor chicken, but it was soft, though.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you think you had seen there? A miracle, right?
Yeah.
You thought it was a miracle.
I didn't know what it was.
It's a miracle of life.
I didn't know what it was that was in the back of the chicken, but I was going to catch it before it fall into the snow.
Yes.
It was going to fall into the snow. She didn't get to the nest in time.
Wow. Well,
If I hadn't caught it, I bet you it would have stayed in the snow.
Yeah.
Probably stepped on it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, I can't.
And churn this butter. And I said, okay. Well, as long as it was milk, it was easy. I was just playing with it, like that. And then when it started to get harder, and then she'd say, okay, honey, let me take over. And she'd take over, and then after a little while, she'd start making the butter, squares of butter. And she'd give me one to take home to Mama. She'd give me a square.
A block.
A block. Yeah.
Of butter.
Yeah. And
was it yellow, Mom?
Monday?
Was it yellow?
Yellow.
Yellow. It would turn yellow, or she had coloring?
It would turn yellow. She put something in it.
Powder.
I don't know what it was.
Because the butter, actually, when they churn it, it's really white, isn't it?
I don't know, Rico. I wasn't but about 6, 7 years old.
In Missouri? We can't do that now.
And one time when Julie and I were coming from Miss Buttermiller's house, we heard the whistle of the train coming around that bend. Do you have that picture where that bluff was way up high?
I have the picture of the barge on the Mississippi River.
Yeah,
not the bluff. I don't know what happened to that.
The bluff, I don't know what happened to that picture, but it was burned on the side a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it was in the fire.
Yeah, I don't know what happened to that.
Anyway, that bluff, the train would come way around the bluff, and it would blow the horn. And Julie and I had just gotten on the bridge, and we couldn't turn around and go back to Miss Buttermiller because we had to cross over the tracks. Julie said, let's stay here, Alice. Come on, get in that corner. It was like a V. Like a V like that. And
Yes.
she pushed me in that corner. She said, stay there. And I must have been about 6, 7 years old, but I remember. And she pushed me in there, and she got a hold of the blade of that thing that was like that. She got a hold of this blade and held on to that. And she was over me like that, you know, holding on, had her back to the train, and the train was going by. And we were afraid that the air would suck us under the train.
Yes.
And we were that close. We were right there on the tracks.
Hold this. Coffee.
And so we waited until the train went by.
Yeah.
And then she said, let's go. But Alice, don't tell Mama. Don't tell Mama we got caught on the bridge. But then she won't let us come to Miss Buttermiller's anymore. So we didn't tell Mama. Whatever Julie would tell me, that's what I would do.
Huh.
I'd always listen to her.
You all could have gotten killed. You all could have gotten killed.
Yeah.
You could have died.
Yeah.
You could have died.
We could have gotten killed on the... Yeah.
This was in Missouri.
Yeah.
Well, you can't have that no more.
But there's another jar up there, isn't it?
Yeah. Mom, you can't drink milk and do that no more. It's all poison now.
What?
Milk and all that is poison now.
Yeah.
They're poisoning all the food.
And
Sad.
And on Sundays, we'd go way up down that bluff, way up there. And we would look down the river, down to the river, and then on Sunday, the speedboats would go by. They'd go way down there and then make a turn. And
They had speedboats?
Speedboats.
Where did they come
They
from?
were small. They were small, just one man in it.
What were they doing? They're riding around or going fishing?
What, honey?
Were they going fishing?
No, the speedboats, they were racing.
Oh, racing.
It was a race.
What year was that?
Back in the... Well, I was born in 1919. I was born in 1919, and I was already about 6, 7 years old. And we would watch them. We'd walk up there with Lillian and Helene and Mary and Wilma, Julie and I. We'd all walk up there to the bluff. And from way up there, we could look down to the river and watch those race boats.
So that was around 1920, huh?
Yeah. And then we would come down and we'd go into the cornfield that was a little bit further down from where Mom and Daddy lived, their back of their house. And it was a cornfield that Fritz Hazy. They were Lillian and Helene's uncle, because her dad was August Hazy. And we go into the field, and he knew that the girls were in the field because, you know, they'd go through there looking for watermelon, and the branches of the cornfield would go back and forth. And he lived up on the hill, up that way, and he would holler, "Kids, get out of my cornfield! Don't steal my watermelons!" And they'd run with a watermelon. We'd go down the river, and they'd get a rock and hit it. Hit chunks. And we would all eat. It's funny, we had watermelon in our garden. Lelia Helene had watermelon in their garden. So Mary Brown and Wilma had watermelon in their garden. But we'd go over to Fritz and get his. We'd like to steal, I guess. I don't know. We would steal his watermelon and go down the river and eat.
Stolen melons are always the sweetest. It's Proverbs. Proverb in the Bible. Stolen.
I'm telling you.
Oh. There wasn't no TV.
There was no TV. There was no movies. There were no parks that we could go to play on the swings or anything. And that's when when they were talking about making a swing there in the yard, you know, our two boxcars were here, side by side, and then there was a yard in between, and there was a coach, what you call it, that was a home of the Wesleys. It was a coach with the windows on both sides, you know, what a coach,
Pullman.
a train.
Pullman coach.
Oh, yeah.
Pullman.
Pullman, okay. And so there was a tree there.
That was his home?
That was there in Missouri.
That was his home?
That was his home.
Huh.
And our home was two boxcars that Daddy made two windows to the front and the door right in the middle of the boxcar, and then another window here to come into this other boxcar, and then two windows to look out to the river, out to the back. He didn't put no window there nor there. And so Mama couldn't look out that way when we were playing out there in the yard on that side. And Marie and Philip, Johnny, they all decided to have a swing.
Mm-hmm.
So, well, we had a swing, and they tried and tried to throw a rock with a rope over the branch of the tree. They just couldn't get it all the way up there. It was so high.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those trees that the leaves hit and they sound real pretty when the wind is blowing. What is it? What kind of a tree is it?
Oak? No.
No. It's a tall one like that. And Eddie knows because he had two of them over there in his backyard on...
Alamo tree? No. But that was in Missouri.
That was in Missouri, yeah. And so they said, Alice, do you think you can get up there if we throw that rope up there? I said, well, maybe. And so somebody threw that rock, and the rope went over the branch, and the rock came down like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
They said, get out of the way, kids, get out of the way. Everybody get out of the way. And so they had both ropes down here, you know.
Yeah.
One with a rock. And so they said, can you get up there? So I took my big toes, both of my toes, and I climbed up, you know.
Like a sloth.
I was going up there.
It's like a sloth.
And getting on both ropes. They were holding the ropes so they'd be steady.
You're a sloth.
And I was climbed all the way up. When I got up there under the branch, straddled the branch, Alice, straddled the branch. And I put one leg up there, and the other one, and on this side, and I was like on a horse. They said, okay, now you take up that rope that's loose, that don't have the rock. Take it up there and tie it 3 times. So I tied it, and I put another one knot, another knot, tied it. They said, okay, now, we're going to take the rock off the other one. Pull it up, and then you tie it a ways from that first one. Tie it up there. So I tied it up there too, and I tied that one. Okay, now, can you get off of that branch, unstraddle that branch, and come down? Put your toes in there. So I put one leg on the toe, and then I got a hold of the branch like that. And I put the other toe in between there. And then I brought my hand down and cut this rope and got this rope. And then I came down real slow. They said, don't slide, because then it'll burn. That rope was going to burn my toe.
Mm-hmm.
So I laid hold it real steady. And then I came all the way down. And they put that board on that swing. When Daddy got off from work, that little cart that you take a picture on,
yes,
it's coming in. Well, we didn't think anything of it. Well, I didn't think anything of it. But Daddy was coming home. So, when Daddy got off of that thing, he came straight to us instead of going home. walking to the house, but he came straight over there to us. ¿Quién puso ese mecate allá arriba? Licha. Licha. Boy, he started taking off his strap and going to the house. He was going to whip Mama. And Johnny and Marie went after him. No, papá, mamá no sabe que tenemos el columpio. Mamá no sabe nada. And he was going to whip Mama because she didn't take care of us. Esa niña se podía haber caído. Se hubiera matado si se hubiera caído. Se le hubieran quebrado todos sus huesitos. And, but we had a swing. We were so happy. Everybody would swing in there.
So you didn't get a whipping?
No,
your mother didn't get a whipping either?
No, she didn't get a whipping either, no.
Well, I think it's time you got that whipping now. I think you're old enough now to get a whooping.
Yeah. And,
so y'all had a swing. Who got to swing first, though?
I don't even remember.
You should have been the first one,
been
Mother.
the first one, yeah.
You should have been top dog.
Mm-hmm.
You were probably so scared.
And the Edwards would go there to swing, and the Wesleys would go there to swing. And
Really?
Swing. We would all swing on that swing, yeah. We had a good time. Nobody would fight over it. All they say, it's your turn. Okay, now it's my turn. Okay. We'd go by turns.
There was no TV. There was no TV.
No.
No TV, no radio. Oh, you had a radio, right? Did you have a radio?
Yes, Daddy had a radio. And then Daddy bought a record player.
A phonograph player, yeah.
And it had that horn like that.
Okay, hold on. He liked what?
Rum and Coca-Cola.
That song?
They ordered that record.
That record?
From it was the Sears or the Montgomery Ward, one of the two.
Go ahead.
They ordered that rum and Coca-Cola. I wouldn't know the words.
Drinking rum and Coca-Cola, down in the Cubana, both mother and daughter, working for the Yankee dollar. Remember that? Is that the way it went?
Yes, And Mom and Daddy liked that. And then there was another song that it says, all I can remember is a few words, that it said that the money goes from hand to hand and a woman from a man to man.
Ah, yes. I seem to remember something along the but I can't remember the tune.
Yeah.
And it would play that.
And then the other one that he ordered was Bury Me Under the Whipping Willow.
I know. You gave me the words to that and I lost it. I'll have to look it up. I found it one day.
Yeah.
Bury me under the weeping willow, so if nobody comes...
There's no one to weep for me.
Nobody to weep for me, at least the weeping willow will weep for me.
Yeah. Those stayed in my mind. I don't know why.
Story of my life. Nobody weeps for Al. Hey, and your name is Alice. What's your real name?
Elsie.
Elsie. Not Alicia.
And Daddy, Elisa.
Alicia. No, Elisa.
No, Elisa en español. Elsie en inglés. And the middle name is Eniseta.
Eniseta? And what's your grandmother's name?
Eblogia.
Eblodagia, no?
Eblogia.
Eblogia.
Yeah.
And her last name?
Locadio.
And so Grandpa's real name is?
Juan Dávalos Estrada. Well, Estrada because of his stepdad, that his mother gave him to that man.
So it's Juan Locadio Estrada, no, Juan Locadio Dávalos Estrada.
Yeah. His dad was Dávalos. His mother was Locadio.
And you know, on my father's side, his name was Manuel Garcia, and his father was Manuel Garcia, And what was my grandmother's name on my father's side?
Marcela.
Marcela, her maiden name? Nobody knows.
No. Beba has, I think she had it in Lloyd, the big picture of her dad with that big hat on.
Mm-hmm.
And you and Irene are on one side, and Beba's two children are on this side, Chuy and Marcela
Mm-hmm.
are on this side. I think he has Marcela on his lap,
Mm.
and or has Chuyo on his lap, and Marcela standing on the side.
Yeah.
She wanted me to have it, but I never could go there to pick it up.
And she don't drive either, huh?
Huh?
She doesn't drive.
Not too much anymore. She drives just around there, the store, but not way out here. She has osteoporosis,
Mm.
and then she said one time she turned like that because Marcella was there talking to her. She did like that and it stayed like that. She had to go to the doctor, so she don't ever be turning like that because you have osteoporosis.
And your neck will lock up.
And your neck, it will lock. Mm-hmm.
Mm. Man. Not good.